There's a crazy question to think about today. What would you change about you? What would you change about you? Today, I actually had this. Today, our team has this great question. So I want to throw it out to you. So we were talking about, about, improving ourselves and what we need to work on. And so I asked that question, what would you change about you? Now, the things is, I looked at things that I need to work on within me. I need to work on budgeting. All right. I used to be really good at it. After my wife died, that really got thrown off really bad. I need to do some debt reduction. I need to get some more energy, and I need to work on my mindset. All right. As far as it relates to improving myself, I also got to stay on top of my health. That's one of the big things that I know that I've got to do is, and so when I ask, what would you change about you? It's starting with me, right? What would you change? Guys, welcome in. I'm Coach Ken. I'm up in Anchorage, Alaska. And thank y'all for coming and being here. Those of you here, and just think about the question, what would you change about you? If you got, I mean, that's not something you normally hear over here. I mean, I've watched enough of these to kind of know, man, these questions are ones that we don't ask very much. Now, as a nutrition coach, and you can ask me any question in here. I've been a pastor for 30 years as well. So I'm to call myself the wellness preacher. I'm a nutrition coach now as well. I've got like all these different titles and stuff. So I sit there and I've got to ask this is where want to change the way I look at the world. Hey, that's a great one, Jerome. When you say that, what do you say? Why do you think that is? Why do you think you want to change the way that you look at the world? How, I guess the other question, what way are you looking at the world? How are you looking at the world? I don't argue with you. I think there's always days and times that we struggle with looking at the world, right? We struggle with it. I know I struggle with it because I can choose to see, hey, exactly. My wife, and you'll hear, those of y'all who knew, I always refer to my wife as a beautiful Dr. G. I think she's the most beautiful woman in the world. I've been blessed twice. I would tell people, because when it gets bad, I think it's important for me to know and to say, a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. I did it twice, right? I married above my pay grade twice. But yeah, that whole thing, you can choose to see hate or you can choose to see love. And Dr. G always says you can choose your attitude or change the situation or change your attitude about the situation. Does that resonate with you? She says that, and it's like every time she does it, I'm like, damn, she's right. She's right. On my live today, I told people you need to listen to your wife. It'll save your life. And I will tell you that listening to my wife saved my life. What you know, she got me started on a health protocol, saved my life, helped me to reverse my diabetes and change my life. So, absolutely, that's huge. Hey, we got backyard fun country boy. All right, what's the okay? What's the okay? Do you agree with that? Do y'all agree with that? And if you're not married, I mean, if you're a female, then in this day and age, LGBTQ, you can be married to one. I mean, it's no big deal as far as I'm concerned. You love who you love is, and that's coming from a pastor. You that's boy, that's going down a deep road, isn't it? Uh, so there you go. But yeah, I mean, you surround yourself with the right people. Choose who you flock with. That makes a big difference. I think, for me, the mindset, I get up every day. I have a friend of mine, a coworker, Mikey, that we work together, and he really pushed me to say, you need to work on affirmations because your mindset sucks, right? And I talk about that. And, I think we're whole people. As whole people, we focus on three areas: body, mind, and soul. And the soul has been a big focus of me for as a pastor for 30 years. The soul is always a key part of my journey. When I was diagnosed with diabetes and losing my first wife to cancer, health became a big thing. So, my body became a big thing. That's one reason I became a nutrition coach. But then my mindset really started sucking, and I realized my mindset's really sucked for a long time. So I get that whole idea, you change the way that you look at the world. And I've been looking into that for a while. I do daily time with God, but I also do something called the method where I start to kind of vision forward. And I have an affirmation that I do. And I don't know if this is helpful. How many of y'all do affirmations? If you do an affirmation, type yes. Maybe this will help you. Um, every day I have a set of things I say that I am worthy, I am confident, I am capable, and I am caring. That the spirit in me attracts people to me, and that I like myself and I love my work. I try to make sure that I say those things every day, and I will sit there with a period of time, like 5 minutes, and I'll even do something weird. I'll go to the bathroom and I'll look in the mirror and I'll look myself in the eye and say that about me. Man, and it has helped so much to work on mindset. And that is part of the method that I use every day to kind of shape and form that. So, what would you change about you? What would you change about you? Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. So I may have to get off a little bit earlier than I intended. We're going to do a milk run. Did you know it's illegal to get raw cow milk in Alaska? Of all places, it's illegal to get raw cow milk in Alaska. So we have to run clandestine milk run tonight. Weird. I feel like I'm like doing something bad. It's like, there's so many things that you can get in trouble for. You can get trouble for buying raw milk. So, those of y'all that come in, so let me talk just a little bit. So, what would you change about you? And for me, when I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, that was a big one that I needed to change. So, when I say listen to your wife, it could save your life, I listen to my wife. My wife is a doctor, the beautiful Dr. G, tooth fixer. She was the one that told me about a natural protocol that I can use. Because here's the thing, when you live in this world, right, there's some big problems. And the biggest problem that we have is that 93% of us are sick. If you were on my live just a little while ago, we had a whole live about metabolic health, right? So that was a real challenge. That was a real challenge because what we don't realize is that we are sick. So I'm going to pull up my. This is one thing I don't like the way these apps work. Let's see if I can get this to pull right up here. So here's the thing. So we're dealing with a problem in our world right here, and it's this one that we are dealing with something called insulin resistance. I need to move this little guy down a little bit. How would you change? Right, about you. So these issues right here, something called insulin resistance. And if you're not familiar with that, it's not right. I'll explain it just real quick, and kind of do in there. But when you look at the conditions up here from diabetes, we usually think about diabetes when it comes to insulin. How many of y'all know somebody dealing with diabetes? What about we're dealing with so many issues up in here, migraines. Do you know somebody dealing with migraines? If it's not you, then who? I mean, if there's something that you would want to change about you, I know for me, those are things I wanted to change. I'm already a cancer survivor, so I get that one, right? So when I look at this list, I'm sitting here going, man, I can count those off. And I know people, I've known too many people. And this year I've lost so many friends. It's crazy. And the signs were there over here, all these signs as it relates to insulin resistance. And that's frustrating. How many of y'all have lost somebody that you really cared about? Who was it? Who did you lose that you really cared about? Who was that person in your world that you hate that you lost? I mean, and they lost, they were gone far too soon. They're gone far too soon. Right? Takes you. It hurts, doesn't it? It hurts to lose those people. Um, you sit there and I lost my late wife. It is going on almost 10 years since she passed away. My kids, here's the crazy part about it. My kids are now full adults. My daughter's married. My son doesn't live too far from me. They're adults. They've never lost a grandparent. Their grandparents are in their 80s. They have both sets of grandparents. By that point, I've lost all my grandparents. So I hate it for them that, that was the first person they loved that they lost was their mother. It's absolutely crazy. And one of those it was cancer, and it was related to insulin resistance. It was colon cancer. How many of y'all know somebody that's dealing with colon cancer? Just had somebody that's very much connected to our community here in Anchorage that died of colon cancer. Far too young, left behind a wife and I think 3 kids. Colon cancer is one of the fastest growing cancers in millennials. And the number one reason for that is because we're not getting fiber in our diet. And here's the thing. I'm going to switch over to another slide. So the thing about that is we are living in a world that has taken the fiber out of our food. I mean, we have a modern food dilemma where we eat all day long. We're eating, continual eating. How many meals a day were you taught to eat? Was it 3 or was it 6? How many meals a day were you taught to eat? Type in the comment, was it 3 or 6? Not how many are you eating now, but how many were you taught to eat? Was it 3 or 6? And the reason that I ask is because we look up here is the number one reason why this is a problem is because fiber has been removed. We'll drink apple juice all day long and not eat the apple. But that pectin right there, that's what's in the peel around that apple. There's the fiber right there. And when we consume the food, what fiber does, it changes the profile of the food and it slows digestion. It actually stimulates our bodies to make more GLP-1. Eat rice. Okay, now we're going to I know this gets controversial, right? But here's the thing, we eat white rice. Its rank on the glycemic index is up there with sugar, all right? When we eat things like breads, rice, pastas, corn, potatoes, we're eating things that spike in our blood sugar. The blood sugar spikes and our insulin increase. That leads to that whole issue of insulin resistance that we talked about. That's such an issue that we have. So what do we do about it? Well, like I said, listen to your wife. It could save your life. Listen to your wife. It could save your life. I sit there and here's the thing. Let me show you this one. So I listened to my wife, and listening to my wife saved my life. I listened to my wife, saved my life. We were diabetic. 2024, I was diagnosed in 2023. Dr. G was diagnosed 2024. I listened to my wife and it saved my life. That's why I get on here and talk about this, is because it is the most important thing, is your health. Your health, not mine. I did what I needed to do to fix my health. I did what I needed to do to fix my health. So when I asked that question earlier, what would you do to change you? What can you think about when it comes to 2020? What would you do to change you? For me, it's body, mind, and soul, and it's part of up here is in that mindset. I look at this picture and I see this picture and I see how important it is for me to be the very best I can be and to address that and to jump in here and listen to my wife. I did, and it saved my life because my wife's a doctor. She knows what the hell she's talking about, right? It's not listening to doctors who don't care about me, right? They just want to get me in and get me out and put me on medications, right? How many of you guys have got this crap right here? You got one of these. Maybe you've got a pill for every ill like this. If maybe you know somebody. Did you know the average U.S. American is now on at least 4 medications? I was there when I was diagnosed with diabetes. And here's the thing. One of the meds was something so simple. Omeprazole, Nexium, the little purple pill. The little purple pill for acid reflux. Do you know when you're on that, it increases your chances of diabetes over 50%? Holy crap. And my doctors, I had 3 different doctors over 20 years that kept me on a medication that led to that diabetes diagnosis. Don't think I don't have questions about the pharmaceutical company. Don't think for 1 minute it doesn't piss me off that they're not addressing it. Don't think for 1 minute that I haven't delved into the history of this. We go back to 1747 and the Reverend John Wesley's book, The Primitive Physic, that questioned everything about medical. And then we lead that up to Louis Pasteur. We go, ooh, pasteurization, ooh, yay, germ theory. Guess what was going on at the very same time that is not in your history book? Was terrain theory. Beauchamp was the other biologist opposite of him that said, no, 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 it's not the germs, it's the terrain of the body. It's the metabolic issues in your health. All right. Then we fast forward it again. And you know who had the money, of course, was Pasteur. Pasteur and his family had all the money to sit there and change everything. So everybody was focused on germ theory, more pills for every single ill that you have. We're going to do more medication. And what does Rockefeller do when he comes along in the 20th century? Throws out once again, shutting down universities and medical colleges that dealt with homeostasis and natural medicines. While his family was on natural, while his family was listening to homeopathic, right, and osteopaths, no, he made sure the rest of us all got on pills. That was all about medication. And we forgot, we ignored, and we demonized natural health protocols. And we started, and here's the two books. I'm going to tell you the two books that I go to for basics all the time. The Fiber Effect, right? There's another one called Fiber Fuel. But this one right here, I like simple books. This is one. If you don't have one to learn about the benefits of fiber, it's not showing up. There we go. The Fiber Effect. You'll get that one, right? And The Complete Guide to Fasting. Oh, by Dr. Jason Fung. Grab that one. You want two books about lifestyle. We want to change the order that we eat. What your grandparents told you was true. Eat your veggies first. And eat until you're full. So we want to focus on fiber, fats, and proteins. 30, 60, 90, right? I supplement. I make sure that I get fiber no matter what I do, where I go. So on the busiest days, and I'm not sitting there with a damn salad, all right? I can't get to a salad, and I love a good spinach salad. That's my favorite. Is a good spinach salad. I supplement with balance. This is the fiber that I use. It's got the study and the research. It's the only one in the PDR.net that works like metformin, that works like statin. Let me ask you this question. Let me throw this one out to you. When God created the world, and you may believe in God, you may not, really don't care. So maybe it was the Big Bang. Did God create pharmaceutical companies or were there plants? Type in the comments, did God create pharmaceutical companies or did God create plants? And if you know what day of the week God created the plants, you put that in there too. All right? If you know the book of Genesis. Here's the thing. We got to address this right out of the gate. Man, God is so important. Fiber. So 30, 60, 90. 30 grams of fiber, 60 grams of fats, and 90 grams of protein. If you'll do that, I was 200 pounds. I focused on 130 to 150 grams of protein. That was a focus. I lost weight. And look, the second part of that is doing intermittent fasting, doing a time-based order of eating. And that doesn't mean that you're starving yourself. That's not what fasting is. Because you're going to eat until you're full. And you're going to eat in the right order. And that stimulate. Here's the crazy part about it. Here's again what doctors don't tell you. Again, this is where the neglect is in this whole process. Your body in the small intestines makes GLP-1. Your body makes glucagon, like peptide 1, the one that is in those GLP-1 resistor agonists, and they advertise it as, this is GLP-1. Bull crap. If there's ever been a snake oil, that's it. It actually comes from snakes. It comes from the venom of snakes, of the Gila monster. I mean, come on, folks. This is what we're talking about. Are you going to sit there and ignore this? Right? Absolutely. 100%. We're not going to ignore that. We've got to make those changes. And to follow the actual science. What's one thing that you would change about you? For me, I did not like that guy right there. That guy was inflamed. That guy was hurting. That guy was sick. It's crap. No. And here's the thing. What about you? I listened to my wife and it saved my life. That's like my new mantra now. I listened to my wife and it saved my life. I need to listen to my wife a lot more, right? I need to surround myself with people like her that tells me the things that I need to hear, whether I want them or not. I listened to my wife and it saved my life. Look, I'm a marriage counselor, for crying out loud. I've been doing marriage, pre-marriage and marriage counseling for all the time for 20 years as a clergy, right? I'm a certified counselor for that. You would think I would know, right? You would think, because I'm a little bit dense. Like I said, a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. Listen to your wife. It might save your life. And when your wife is a doctor, you doubly better be listening to her. And I share that with you because that's my wife, the beautiful Dr. G. She saved my life. She saved her own life and she saved my life. Think about it. What good does it do to talk to somebody that's never been where you're at? If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, doesn't it just sucks to be listening to somebody who's never been where you're at? If you haven't felt like that, if you haven't been inflamed like that, it's just not. Now, I don't know what it's like to be 200 pounds overweight. I know what it is to be right up at that 50. I don't know how that felt. Today, I feel at 54, I feel more like I'm 24. I'm sitting here now at this point in time with the energy that I had when I was 24. I'm wearing the same size clothes, not wearing the same clothes. I'm wearing the same size clothes, right? Because I listened to my wife and it saved my life. I listened to my wife and it saved my life. And what she, as a doctor, she started the protocol and told me about the protocol. So what I do is everything I talked about, fiber, fats, and proteins, that's the nutrition science. You can look up UCLA, you can look up the Ohio State, you can look at the CDC, you can go on the NIH, PubMed, and look at all of the benefits. And we can look up the benefits of lowering those insulin levels when we do intermittent fasting. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about huge differences. Now, if you're intimidated by intermittent fasting, I totally get it. How many of you guys have done intermittent fasting? If you've done intermittent fasting, type yes. If you've never done it, type no. Give me a yes, give me a no. Let me know. Just put it in the comments. Anybody done intermittent fasting? If you've ever done it, or and it sucked. You felt like you're going to die. You had the cravings all day. It was like, oh my gosh, I can't go that long. You get the headaches, right? Your head's hurting, and you're going, oh my God. I've been there. Tried doing that when my late wife was in her treatment. I couldn't. But I listened to my wife now and it saved my life. And it was learning that there are certain things you can drink that stimulate your body to make GLP-1. And one of those is chlorogenic acid, which you get in plants. So here's the thing. We drink a tea. Yerba mate, this is called Unimate. This is a concentrated version of yerba mate tea from South America. In a fasted state, it stimulates your GLP-1 by 60 to 70%. This is the Feel Great system. This is where I really listened to my wife. I took it up a notch and did exactly what she did. So every day I take fiber before the biggest meal that I have. Actually, I do 2 of these before every meal. And then I sip on a Unimate. I'm coming to the end of my day here in Alaska. This is almost done, right? You can see I'm almost done. The flavor is pomegranate raspberry. Best drink on the planet. I've got energy through the course of the day. It has been awesome. It has been the best thing that I've done. And it is something that you can join me on. If you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, there is an answer for this that's far easier than what people make it out to be. The Feel Great system is that. The studies are there. The research is there. I can tell you about it if you've been on my lives. Make sure you check out some of the videos. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure that you subscribe. All right? Make sure that you subscribe. The links to order it. When you order from us, you get Dr. G and I's coaches. You get Dr. G and I's coaches. You get all the guidance. You get access to all of the calls that we do, all the webinars that we participate in. And you get our phone numbers to call us and talk to us. We're going to call and talk to you. We're going to be there as coaches. And it's only going to be about $5.40 a day. So for the meal, when you're cutting out all the crap, all of the things in the bags and boxes and barter codes, we get rid of all that. There's your game change right there. For $5.40 a day. You're going to be saving money in the end because you're not going to be eating the shiz, the crap, all right? Carbonated sodas, all right? Refined foods, right? All of those things. I forgot all the A and P, all right? Processed foods, we're going to get rid of all that. We're getting all of that out. We spend in the US, we spend an average of $20 to $30 a month. Actually, a day. Sorry, let me get my math right. $20 to $30 a day on that one meal. And then when we look at the snacks that we eat, right? If we go in the low end and we do $20 a day, multiply that by 30 days is $600 a day. $600 a day that we're spending on all of that extra food that has our insulin spiking, right? Because our blood sugar spikes. Blood sugar spikes, insulin spikes, blood sugar spikes, insulin spikes. It's like a boxing match with your body and your pancreas. When insulin is high, the fat on your body will defy. It won't go anywhere. You cannot burn fat. Dr. Ben Bickman, Brigham Young University, leading metabolic scientist. Check him out on YouTube. You can sit there and listen to the man talk. This is a guy that grows fat cells, and insulin is key to that. You take insulin away, guess what happens with the fat cells? Give it insulin. Take away the insulin. Just like my little sound effects there. Woo, there we go. It's getting late. I'm getting a little punchy. I'm going to have to go get that milk. So we're doing our milk run here in a second. So anyway, the Feel Great system is the way to supercharge your metabolic health. Everything that we talk about, you don't have to be on the Feel Great system to get the benefit of meal order eating and intermittent fasting. But I'm going to tell you that we are lifers on this because we've seen the difference. I've met people that have done this for 30 years. This fiber's been around for 30 years. Here's the thing that's scary. The American Diabetes Association and the American Heart Association verifies that this works, that the fiber in this works. It is in the PDR.net that they have backed this up, and yet they don't promote it. Again, follow the money trail. If it doesn't make sense, it's going to make money for somebody, right? If it doesn't make sense, it's going to make money for somebody. And when the pharmaceutical companies are making $1 trillion and the doctors say, oh, we're not getting kickbacks, but they're getting invited and flown for hundreds of thousands of dollars to speaking events, don't tell me. I've listened to the doctors tell that that's exactly how they get their kickbacks when they're promoting certain pharmaceuticals, certain products. No. But when you do this, you get a $70 off. You get to pay the same price that I do every single month when you want to get on the Feel Great system, and you get Dr. G and I as your coaches on the Feel Great system. These videos become more personal. Healthy Together and Feeling Great is just what it is. Listen to my wife and it could save your life. I'm sharing my wife's wisdom with you. How about that? You're getting you're getting a doctor and a nutrition coach input on this. Guys, thank y'all so much for being here and being a part of the live tonight. It's been great having you on. I hope that you will subscribe. I hope that you'll stay up with what we're doing. And I'm looking at what my plan is going to be, a video every week. You've got shorts that I'm coming out, and I'm going live almost every single day. And you need to make sure that we're going to be here to help you on your journey to health. Now, I'm just going to relay in part what I know as a nutrition coach and share with you the wisdom of my wife that could save your life. Go get the day, make it golden. Thank you guys for being here. If you haven't subscribed, do that. Check it out. I will be back here tomorrow morning, right here, same bat time. Well, it won't be the same bat time. It won't be this late. It'll be earlier in the morning. Y'all go get the day, make it golden. We'll see you back around.